Much respects to you, April the 2nd, 2025. I'm Grantor Lamont Durrell Belton, sui juris et law. Seminole, Pacta, Sunt, Servanda, and Lex Jurisprudence Dejure Priesthood, Chief Priest, I am. Much respects to you. I did get a transmission from one of my deputies. That would be Bailiff Deputy Ralph Bay, in regards to sharing with this specific video. We may know the Black Slave Rebellion, 1835-1842. Now they have in there what was illegally inserted, and I'll share with you because there were some inadequacies and some inconsistencies and some inaccuracies with Mr. Dr. Christopher Stackhouse's delivery per Facebook, okay? So I'm being specific. The term Black Seminole does not go together, okay? Now, most of the conspiracies have happened over the years, and I counted it. I'm transmitting to you from the Great Seal Perserverando. This is where the colonies that came into the lands of where we may know Powhatan, or you may know before the term America, it would be Tamaracan, or either you can go back to Turtle Island, and other people have certain definitions. You can check the ancient Cati Treaty of Candes, 1259. That's also a reference. But to share with you, I am the chief priest, and of course, this is Aboriginal martial law officers. This is the badge that I had, what you may call distributed, or was able to issue to bailiffs in this specific Bailiwick of the Seminole, Pacta, Sunt, Servanda, and Lex Jurisprudence Dejure Priesthood. That is keeping now, or I being the holder of the seal, and that's since the express had come to our Virginia State Corporation Commission. That would be the lesser seal. State of Virginia, their commissioners asked which were specifically Joel H. Peck, to administer this specific seal, because they could not, because of course of the collegial, fraternal, or Roman Lex 40 style processing through all of their courts and venues and implied jurisdictions, but they're not at law, they are at legal fiction and finance. Okay, I am commercial, and what commercial law is substantive jurisprudence, what you may call law or natural law, a court of record where there is respect for the only courts that exist is common law courts, and that is permissible only for the actor, or you may know the Constitution for the United States, that was influenced by an earlier time, some say Iroquois Confederacy, and in terms of firm league of friendship between those sovereign states, and that's what, in essence, what influenced the United States. Okay, so let's get to further information here. The 23 tribes that I had counted, Virginia Council on Indian Affairs. This is the Virginia State Corporation Commission, and as you see at the top, there is a seal, the Great Seal Perserverando. That is the seal that sustains liberty for ourselves and our posterity and our children for future generations. That the colonies that was from Britain or the Virginia London Company, the foreigners that are exploiters or explorators that came here, that is their standing permanently today. They were dissolved in 1624. 1606, 1624, the Virginia Dissolution book by Wes Craven. So this is my Pacific standing at what you may call natural or common law jurisprudence, and we have what we call a circuitry court system that is full faith and credit, and of course interacting with the Virginia colonial circuitry as a court within the Commonwealth, however not subjected to, however oversight to it, because they swore to this. However, we know that there is recommendations like the common law court of Kevin Arnett that had brought to you about the 1609 illegal, you may call the structure of the settlement, which today you have King or Charles that exists today from that Pacific line. That's a whole different situation. But what we're talking about is people saying that Black and Seminole, that don't go together. You can't chase people already existing at liberty in their land free. That was a missed situation. They were being violated, and of course there was a forcing to what you may call Florida, and then there was a mixture, as Dr. Christopher Stackhouse said, of Seminole Indians in Florida. However, North America, there is a recordation of courts that exist outside of America. Chief Lamont in 1996 in the British Columbian system, or you may know Canada system, the Canadian judicial system, stated that America had pre-colonial Aboriginal law systems before the Europeans arrived to North America. This is a justice on another continent saying this to date. So I want to bring forth relevance that let you know that this specific tribe, Seminole, Pacta, Sunt, Servanda, and Lex Jurisprudence Jure priesthood, holds dear. See, we hold dear the tradition of what you may call Aboriginal. And of course, I was able to lean the Uniform Commercial Code because it's for natural person, however, inclusive the first people in terms of their title and standing to the landmass. We're never black, okay? We're never black people. I'm going to go further on, letting you know that the Virginia Court Circuitry do respect this specific fact. Virginia Council on Indian Affairs, 1996, Governor George Allen stated, and I might have said it before, I'm repeating it again. If I'm not, I'm saying it to you. You research the Virginia Council on Indian Affairs, and it states that there were dark-skinned tribes that had their own representatives, governments, that's what they're meaning, in that contents that were here and operating before the colonies trespassed against the lands. They were called Virginians, meaning that the woolly-haired people that existed here, Powhatan and other nations, when the colonies arrived, they were not invited. Reaffirmed by the Pope Francis 2013 motu proprio, okay, where the clergyman from elsewhere, Britain or London, had come forth. And then he went into the revocation of the Christian Catholic discovery doctrine that states that there was no Christian kings or Christian queens, nothing Christian on this land mass in North America. So they trespassed against them. He also revocated Romanus Pontifex 1450 and quoted that specific avant that stated that what? There were no people over here. They would be trespassing if they came. And he told them, that Pacific Pope, Pontifex Romanus 1450, not to come here. They were already sovereign people living here. Us. Okay? So there was no slaves. And a slave is something that is willfully driven. Of course, if you look at the electronic terminology, and then people did try to apply that. However, the other governor that was recently in 2020, or might be before that, Ralph Northingham recently stated that they were not slaves, they were indentured servants. So they contracted themselves out. Very few people identified with slavery. See, but most black pastors, and I say this with respect, you have more so of a style that emphasizes on slaving and is connecting to a treasury. And of course, you know, people have certain actors guilds where they play script. You get it? So we are not that. Remember that the Moors have something stating that the European Aboriginal Guild, Union State Societies like Actors Guild. And of course, I had to correct the Moors on their part and parcel to the said government. What? When it was Corpus Juris 1785, Volume 20, that the United States is a foreign corporation before we get into government. That was, again, that Volume 20, 1785 Corpus Juris, which is over top of their judiciary in Washington, that reminds them that their judicial capacity came out of something that predates them before they got here, sir. Article 3, U.S. Constitution, and USC 28 title. So those are reserves how the Supreme Court came and all of that. So there were existing people that existed first. And then somebody had acknowledged the United States, which was Morocco, which, again, that talked about a consulate, which means something is foreign. So that Pacific Corporation, U.S., with the trading banner flag was recognized. And that is a form of servitude. And those people that got citizenry or membership from them were termed slave. And it's always a black and white story within the context of it being delivered by a corporate collegial fraternal order that is under trespass, that did trespass against people. When you get that version, you will get slave or black in front of it instead of just being Seminole. So it's Seminole here, Pacta, Sunt, Servanda, and Lex Jurisprudence Dejure priesthood that keeps the origin of our people in this proper context. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to talking to you, Mr. Christopher Stackhouse or Dr. Christopher Stackhouse. All liberties reserved.